The Ayatollah is dead.
We are getting information from Israeli sources that the Ayatollah is dead. This is breaking news again coming from Israeli sources.
Israeli sources.
That the Ayatollah, the supreme leader of Iran, is dead. Again, we're going to go to Jeremy Diamond. Jeremy, the strikes coming this morning that were targeting senior leadership. That's what we knew. Targeting senior leadership there in Iran. And now we can say from Israeli sources that the Ayatollah of Iran, the supreme leader, is dead.
All right, you already said that.
What more are you learning there in Israel?
That's right, Jessica. Two Israeli sources telling me and my colleague Tal Shalev that Israel has confirmed that the supreme leader of Iran, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, has been killed as a result of those Israeli strikes that took place earlier today. One of these sources saying that Israel actually has photographic evidence of Khamenei showing his dead body. The second source told me that an official announcement is in the works, although it is possible that the Israelis will allow President Trump and the United States to make this announcement officially. But this is enormous breaking news here that the Israeli government is confirming that the supreme leader of Iran was killed in Israeli strikes earlier today. This is a day that many Israeli government officials have hoped would come eventually. It is also, we should note, a day that many Iranian dissidents, Iranian protesters had hoped would eventually come. And indeed, it has come now. And it is an earth-shattering moment for the Middle East and for the future of Iran. We should note, however, that the supreme leader's death is not necessarily indicative of the Iran regime collapsing altogether. This regime is not based off of one person alone. It is a system that is multi-layered, and we know that the...
So that probably means that it's going to continue. The bombing's probably going to continue. That was my question. Is this guy, you know, okay, we got the head, the main guy. Are we going to continue bombing? More than likely, yes. Because obviously all of this is a way to expand Greater Israel. I don't know if anybody else saw this a couple of days ago, that the Tucker Carlson, Mike Huckabee interview pretty much laid it out. I mean, all designed to build a Greater Israel and completely change the Middle East. And of course, as all of this, it's about resources and oil and all that stuff too.
Supreme leader understood very well that he could potentially be targeted for assassination should the United States and Israel choose to carry out massive strikes on Iran as they did today. And in recent weeks and months, he has been preparing for potential lines of succession should that actually take place. Now, we are still waiting, of course, for any confirmation from the United States as well as to the supreme leader having been killed. But two Israeli sources familiar with the matter telling us now that the supreme leader was killed in Israeli strikes today. One last note on this is that we have also been hearing about the division of labor between the United States and Israel as it pertains to these strikes. U.S. officials have been very clear that their strikes have been focused on military targets and that the strikes targeting senior Iranian leaders.
So what about that school? They're supposed to be targeting military targets. Yet the first bomb, the first attack on Iran was a school, killing 85 people, by the way.
Such as the supreme leader were being conducted by
schoolgirls. Kids.
By Israel and not by the United States. Ultimately, that may...
You know, that would have been a massive scandal 10 years ago, 15 years ago, whatever. Today, that's like, who cares? Where's all of the outrage from all of the MAGA crowd? You know, I follow a couple of people on the other social media sites just to see, just to kind of keep an eye on you people, what they're on about. And I've noticed nobody's bringing up the Epstein files. Nobody's bringing up this, even though this is the main thing right now. This is what everybody's talking about. What are they talking about? They're talking about something that Rosie O'Donnell said, a comment that she made about the State of the Union a couple of days ago. It's like, these people are obsessed with culture and celebrity. I mean, they put a celebrity in the White House. Donald Trump. He's a reality show star. He's a failed businessman. He's just a shitty celebrity, and that's all they really care about. Reagan, Trump. I mean, it's all optics for them. These people are just very unserious.
Very well be a distinction without a difference, given the high level of coordination between the United States and Israel in preparing and carrying out these strikes. But this is obviously an enormous moment in the Middle East, something that we anticipated could potentially be a target of any Israeli or U.S. strikes on Iran. And indeed, now not only a target, but confirmed by Israeli sources that the supreme leader of Iran is dead.
Indeed, big news out of the Middle East, the potential to reshape so many dynamics there. But again, as Jeremy notes, not a straight line to regime change. This is a piece of it, but it is a big piece of it. This is enormous news. Jeremy, I want you to stand by because we have seen those missiles that have been coming to Israel throughout the day. So stay with us. I do want to bring Jim Sciutto back in. Jim, this is very big news. And again, Jeremy, it is. And so help people understand, contextualize for them that what this means, that Iran's supreme leader has been killed in these strikes by the U.S. and Israel.
Yes, contextualize.
These strikes are now officially decapitation strikes, right? Strikes that were intended via Israeli military action, to be clear, to take out Iran's most senior leadership. And the man you see there, Ali Khamenei, is Iran's most senior leader with enormous, certainly political power in that country, but also religious authority in that country. The structure of Iranian government being that, yes, it has a president elected, but the supreme leader lies at the top of the government. And that is that man you see speaking there, which Israeli sources are now telling CNN was killed in these strikes. Again, to my point earlier, Jessica, prior to this morning, there'd been an enormous amount of speculation as to just how far one, the U.S. was willing to go, but Israel as well, if they were striking together. And now we know they were willing to go as far as taking out Iran's most senior leader. Now, we had reported earlier that he was not the only target of these strikes, that other senior military and other leaders in Iran were targeted. We don't know their status at this point, but as we reported earlier in the day, Israeli officials were becoming more confident over time today that they had hit at least some of their targets. Listen, in Iran, does that mean that suddenly there will be a new government, a new leader, one friendlier to the U.S.? No, an enormous network and structure of leadership and power remains in that country, military, economic, political, and otherwise. But to take out the supreme leader is a significant change. And of course, the question is, how far does that change go? Does it weaken the government to the degree that the government collapses? Does it weaken it to a degree that the protesters that we saw take on this government quite bravely in recent weeks are inspired to go out into the streets again, right? I mean, that's what President Trump was encouraging them to do explicitly in his statement.
What are these protesters going to do? Huh? What are they going to do? These people that have like no weapons? They don't have weapons. If they destroy this government, the only thing that's going to happen is it's going to create a vacuum, and the people with the guns and the muscle, which is usually the underground criminal elements of a country, are the ones that are going to try to take power, or at least it's going to create little pockets of gangs and that sort of stuff that already exist, I'm sure, and to a certain degree. But they're going to have even more power now as a result of this. And if, of course, we're gonna. This is just a precursor. We're going to continue bombing them.
Statement this morning. Now, that's quite a risky proposition, given that government retains enormous power, and they showed they were willing to use it to deadly extent in the many thousands of protesters they killed in recent weeks. Those are still the open questions, but we have one question answered. Was Israel willing to go so far as to take out the supreme leader of Iran? And the answer is yes, and they had success doing so.
Right. And
success doing so. Again, attacking a country, a sovereign nation that didn't attack Israel, didn't attack us. What are we doing?
Now the big question is what comes next? Jim
Yeah.
Sciutto, stand by. I want to bring in Barak Ravid, CNN political and global affairs analyst. He's also a global affairs correspondent at Axios. Barak, I know you spoke with President Trump earlier today. Again, if you are just joining us, our breaking news is that Iran's supreme leader has been killed in these strikes. That is coming from Israeli sources. Barak, we're still waiting to hear from the president, from the U.S. government, but the Israeli sources confirming that. What more are you learning? What did the president tell you?
So first, just about Khamenei, I think around 30, 40 minutes ago, the Israeli ambassador to Washington, Yechiel Leiter, updated several U.S. officials and members of Congress that Israeli intelligence shows that Khamenei has been killed and his body was taken out of the rubble in the compound in Tehran that was attacked. I spoke to President Trump a little bit before 1 p.m. While he was in Mar-a-Lago. We spoke for around 5 minutes. The president sounded, to me at least, pretty calm and confident that things are going according to plan. I think the situation with Khamenei was one of the main things he was tracking at that moment. And what was interesting in what he told me is that I asked him, how long is this going to continue? And he said, I have several off-ramps. I can go long and take the whole thing, meaning take over Iran, something that, I don't think that's something that is seriously being considered.
That's quite a statement,
said,
yeah.
Yeah. Or
It's Trump. I wouldn't put it past him. I mean, we're here now. A couple of years ago, we never thought we would be here. I mean, there have been people warning about this kind of thing for forever, that eventually this was going to happen. And of course, remember, during the campaign, Kamala's campaign, Kamala's going to be the one. She's the warmonger. She's the one that's going to start a war. And Stephen Miller said it. Trump, I don't know if Trump said, I think Trump said it too. And now who's starting the wars? Peace president, my ass.
I can go on for another 2-3 days and then tell the Iranians, we'll see you again in a few years if you try and rebuild your nuclear program, your missile program, meaning that Donald Trump, at least my impression from the conversation with him, is that he's looking to end this thing within a few days and basically put an ultimatum to the Iranians. We can get a deal, or you can try and rebuild your program, and then we'll just bomb you again if you try to do this. And I think that was one of the messages that U.S. officials that just briefed reporters, I think 10 minutes ago, said that when the 12-day war ended after Operation Midnight Hammer, the U.S. told Iran, if you try to rebuild, we will come again. And those U.S. officials said that the Iranians, according to U.S. intelligence, did try and rebuild the program. So we know from satellite imagery that the Iranians started infrastructure work in several of the nuclear sites that were attacked in June. We do not know whether they really tried to resume a nuclear program, meaning enrichment and other activities.
Even if they do resume a nuclear program, I mean, we supposedly got rid of their nuclear program, what was it, 9 months ago, whenever it was that we bombed them the first time. And now they're, looks like they're going to, I forget who said it was Mike Levin or somebody said, like, they're a week away from having a nuclear weapon. What? A week away? And of course, anybody that has been following this stuff for even badly for a little while would notice that Netanyahu of Israel was saying Israel is a week away or a year away or a few months away from having a nuclear weapon. He's been saying that for years. I think it goes back as far as the 90s since they've been saying that. This is ridiculous. Weapons of mass destruction is just a precursor to war. Just so we can, it's all about the oil. Again, it's about the oil, about the resources. Greater Israel, all of that stuff. Any other reason that you hear is just bullshit.
One of the interesting things I heard from President Trump is that he told me that he thinks that Operation Midnight Hammer allowed Operation Epic Fury to go forward. Because President Trump claimed that if he did not go on that operation last June, if he did not order a strike on those 3 nuclear facilities, Iran would have been much, much closer to a nuclear weapon, maybe even have a nuclear weapon by now, according.
They've never wanted a nuclear weapon. They've said it's un-Islamic. We don't want a nuclear weapon. They want it for their power grid, for scientific research. We used to be in an Iran deal that Obama put in place. Yes, and part of that Iran deal, it basically, I think it was after 10 years that Iran could create nuclear weapons if they wanted to. That's what I heard. I don't know if that's actually true. That's somewhere in that deal. But you could have reworked the deal as it came closer to close. Instead, Trump comes and tears it up. He did that in his first term. And so now Iran can do whatever it wants. And so now we're saying, oh, well, you know, they're going to be close to a nuclear weapon. We had a deal in place, but Israel didn't want that.
To what President Trump said, and that would make the current operation much harder, maybe even impossible.
Well, the Ayatollah is dead. So now what? Are there going to be more strikes? Let me know what you think. You think this is going to escalate even further? Use diplomacy to maybe ease tensions a little bit? Personally, in my opinion, I don't think so. I think we're just going to keep bombing them. Obviously, nobody can predict the future. Only time will tell. So, like, subscribe if you like the channel, or if you like what we're talking about. Again, this is more of a you know, we're going to talk about the news. We're going to talk about politics, of course, some media and video game stuff, and as well. So, whatever happens to come up. So that's why it's called independent space. So it's just a free and open sort of dialogue with whatever I feel like talking about that day, and whether it's news related, whether it's politically related, and see what kind of, you know, people gravitate towards. So, but this is stuff that interests me. I hope it interests you. If it does, again, leave a like, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.